for that. But welcome everybody to this class. It's actually the very final class of our series. And so we're going to be covering, this one will be a little different than our other classes where we won't be going like through a whole slide deck as usual. We'll be having most of the time all dedicated to the panelists and them talking about like what they've done with online commerce and selling online. And so this is a very interactive class. And so like, it's a great chance to talk and ask the questions that you want to ask and learn from each other. And so it's more of an interactive class and closer to the more hands-on part of our series. And so one thing too is like, if you can put on your video, that would be awesome once we get into like the discussion time. But if you're sick or have other things to do, no big worries, but and so just a little bit about me and Keep It Local. So I'm Sierra Trass, and our program is one of the hosts of the series. And so what we do is we promote people to shop, taste, play, and buy local here in Columbia County. And oftentimes how we do that is through social media. So you'll see us on our Facebook and Instagram page. Additionally, which I'm really excited that I got to update this bullet this morning, is that we're launching our website directory. So we're soft launching this Friday, and then there'll be a few weeks where you can like add your website or business on, and then we're going to be hard launching towards the end of this month, maybe beginning next month, and that's when we'll tell the public all about it. But if you add your business in now after Friday onto our website directory, that's a free place to like advertise your business, what you're doing. It's supposed to be a directory of all Columbia County's local businesses. And so we're really excited for that, because now then anytime people want to search like a local business, then they can just find them there. And they won't get lost in all the other places like, or they might not be found. And so we're really excited to be launching this. And so once we do this Friday, you'll probably see on our communications, if you're on our email list, or if you're following our Facebook and Instagram page, how to like go add yourself on. It's super easy. And so please add yourself on and take advantage of that free local marketing tool. And then additionally, we do seasonal campaigns. And so our holiday campaign last year brought in $559,000 of local spending. And so we plan to do that holiday campaign again, and then we might do some other seasonal commerce generating campaigns later. And so that's a little bit about Keep It Local. And then Jason, I'll hand it off to him to talk about the SBDC.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jason Moon. I'm the director of the Columbia County SBDC. So we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary here a couple days ago. We offer free one-on-one confidential business advising. I work a lot with businesses on developing business plans and how to manage those plans, whether you're a brand new business or you're looking to grow. I help a lot of businesses also with loan packaging and creating access to capital and what it takes to be lendable. I work through hiring and managing and retaining employees, marketing plans and strategies, sort of navigating business regulations here locally and state and federal levels. I help connect to professional business services, whether it's an accountant or an attorney, and stuff of that nature. So it's a completely free to use service, and we're excited to be able to partner with Keep It Local with these Marketing for Success series. So I think our contact information is at the end of the slide deck, and we'll ensure that we have our emails and phone numbers. So if you want to reach out, you'll be able to after this. Thanks, Sierra.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. The SBDC is awesome. It's very exciting to see how well it's performed over the last year, and how many people have gotten engaged with it. And it's just inception. I think, what is it, the first center in 10 years for Oregon? So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we're something that's really unique. I like to mention about Columbia County's SBDC is that we're the 20th center in the state. Like Sierra said, we're the first new center in nearly a decade, but we're the only center that's not affiliated with a community college. So it gives us a lot of autonomy. I'm out and about in the community quite a bit. I come to the client, unlike a lot of the other centers that are in Oregon. So very special, and it just speaks the uniqueness of our communities here in Columbia County.
Yeah. Very cool. Very excited. It's been the 1 year. And so then the next slide is covering our panelists. And so we have Susanna towards the left of that picture, and then Erin hiding behind the nice photo right there. And they are our speakers from Sass at Home, which is a local business in St. Helens that does more like the retail side. And then Hollo's Pizza, as you might guess, does pizza. And so both of them will be speaking today. And so let me just stop screen sharing for a second to have them each introduce themselves, and then we'll hop into the very first question, which is tell me about your business and online commerce site. How does it work and who's your target audience? So let me stop screen sharing and put Suzanne on the spot first to introduce herself and tell us about her website and business.
Hello. I'm with Sass at Home. It's my parents have Northwest Plumbing Services, and in February 2021, got the keys to a commercial space, and my dad was like, "Oh, Mindy, this is the best thing ever. We can sell people faucets and plumbing parts." And my mom said, "Absolutely not. I will finally get to open my gift store that she had always wanted to have." And she was stay at home during the day and do the bookkeeping for the plumbing company at night. So it had never worked out until she suckered 2 of her kids into working for her, and now has started this really cool store. It's home decor, foods. It kind of started with the idea of, when we build a new home, we're putting in the bathrooms and the kitchens mainly. And so people need things to fill those. And so it started with kitchen and bath related decorative products, lotions and all that kind of stuff. And then it kind of blossomed into kitchen and bath and things we like, and just we do a lot of cooking. So there's a heavy focus in different olive oils and spices. We try to stick with Pacific Northwest brands, not totally Columbia County, but like Spiceology's out of Washington. And then Jacobson salts. We're adding a mocktail. Well, it's like a cocktail mixer company out of Seattle. I just met her at a show, and it can make cocktails and mocktails. So just kind of pretty much anything that catches our eye that we like, and hope that other people would enjoy as well. And I guess I can show our online store. So we use Shopify. I can start sharing my screen. So this is just a little bit of the items that we carry in the store too. Our website is mainly focused towards people who can't make it into the store, maybe during our office hours, and we are open until 6. So if you're on your lunch break in Portland and make it home by 5:30, but don't have time to come in and shop around, you can go and select local pickup and then stop by on your way home and grab your gift that we've already packaged. And we try to spice it up. I don't know, decorate it as much as we can. And that's, I don't know, basically our target audience is mainly that with the online portion, and also people who like certain products from vendors that we carry. They'll put us on their website, so we'll get orders from all over the US in regards to certain products. And then any friends who used to live in the area, still live in the area, but can't make it in, we do ship as well. So that's kind of our target audience is mainly Columbia County, and specifically getting people the products, whether they can make it into the store or not. And so it's kind of set up that way. And I try to tag items like on Facebook and stuff. I was showing Sierra that earlier. There's a way that you can do that so that somebody can click a link to a specific product. If they saw like, oh, that charm's really cute, okay, I can go there, grab it, say I'll pick it up today, and send us a note that says I'll be coming in before 6 p.m. today, or I'll be stopping by tomorrow. And yeah, and it also just allows people to shop 24/7. We had the ice storm right before Christmas that really kind of put a damper on our 12 days of Christmas plans, and we were able to pivot and turn the sale into online. So people were able to shop online and then come pick it up on Christmas Eve. We made sure that we came down here and were available for a couple hours for them to pick them up and still have them by Christmas. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you want
Yeah, that was a great first tour. We could dive a little bit more into the next questions. But I'll also give Erin a chance to also introduce herself, show us a little bit about how Hollow's Pizza does their online sales.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm one half of Hallow's Pizza, and we've been open about 2 years. We opened peak pandemic, and we did a business plan. We thought we were doing everything right. Online shopping was a blind spot for us. We didn't anticipate that we would be using online retail at all as a small food cart and a team of 2. But because of the pandemic, we had to come up with a way for people to schedule orders, and so that we didn't have a lot of people crowding around when we were trying to adhere to 6 feet separation rules. So I wish when we were starting out, we had looked more carefully at setting up online commerce then, because we've really had to scramble to make it work. And since then, it's become a huge, huge part of our business. And for us, because we are a small operation and we get very busy, it allows people to schedule their pizza orders. And I mean, today's Wednesday. This is the first day of our week, which is Wednesday through Saturday. And we already have orders for Saturday. So people think ahead, which is crazy to me because I don't know what I'm having for dinner tonight. But and they order ahead. They know exactly what they're getting and what time on what day. And it's been great for us. It's a big part of our business. And so when our point of sale system is Square, and we use Square Online for our online ordering, which has worked really well for us. And it's one of the things that's nice about it is that it does integrate with our point of sale system directly. And it also, Square is, most things are app based, but it also allows us, I can pull it up on my phone. I can pull it up on any computer, as opposed to some point of sales, you're working with a dedicated terminal. And because we have a catering business, it's nice for us to have that flexibility. So we chose to kind of bundle everything in Square, and I can kind of give you a visual here. I'm going to share my screen. All right, so how we do it is, this is our home web page, and Squarespace is what we use to host that. But we try to have a button very prominent in several places of how to direct people to order online. And our website, our homepage here is we don't change it that much. So this kind of just lives here, but our online ordering page, we have some directions here, just telling people what to expect. And then when you click this, my internet's a little slow today. I don't know if it's the weather or what, but it's going to take you to the Square site. One thing about Square is you are limited in your the design options. So that's one. Before this, I was a photographer, and I had an online web store, and I would not have been happy with the aesthetics of this, but for pizza, this works just fine. But so this is what a customer would see, and it goes through the individual pizzas. And then we'll just take an example. What's kind of nice about it, apologize for how slow this is going, but what is nice about it is that there's a lot of customization you can do within this. So here we have different things you can add on. Sometimes people have notes, things like that, if you want sliced in 8 or leave them unsliced. So this website, this Square website we use this constantly, and this is much more of where we are every at the beginning of every week, we're going through and adding the what we have for modifiers for the week, what we have for specials for the week. So this becomes much more the place where we're doing a lot of upkeep on a weekly basis. I'm going to pop out of here for now. And so going back to what I was saying, it would have been helpful. I wish we had thought about it a little bit more before we opened, because you have to be very comfortable with how your online commerce site is operating. And our target audience obviously is our local customers, but we wanted to have a platform that we could think somewhat expansively, and that if we wanted to add things like gift certificates, or even things like a PDF download for recipes or something like that down the line, we wanted to have something that we could expand our offerings beyond just the hyper local that we work in now. And so that was part of what drove our decision. We also do a lot of customized invoices. So that was another thing we were looking for when we were deciding. And we do a lot of pre-orders. A lot of people will pre-order for a special event or a product that's not on our everyday menu. So we had kind of a list of things of what we wanted this site to be used for, and not all of them were in play at the beginning. And that's kind of a tricky thing to sort of have that vision of like, well, what are we going to need this for? Not necessarily just today, but next year. And so far, Square has been able to meet all of our needs, but that was really, there's a question here. Does Shopify? Yes. Square does a pretty good job with the analytics, and it offers a lot of customer retention tools where it allows people to leave review. I think Shopify does this too. We get a lot of reviews through Square. There's an option for us to send emails and text to customers, and customers have multiple ways to contact us through it. So I also really appreciate that it is interactive in that way. We might get more into this, but while it's in my mind, I will say, when we were developing our Square site, what we did is we created kind of a fake menu. It was a real menu with everything was a penny, and we got a bunch of friends in a room together. Some people had iPhones, some people had Android, some people had a desktop, iPad. Everybody placed a fake order so we could see what their experience was and see what the pitfalls that we weren't expecting. Almost anything is going to have some is almost any app-based site now is thinking that there are people using mobile and desktop, but we did change things to kind of, once we saw what people are experiencing, we could see like, oh, that's way too many words. That requires too much scrolling. We need to kind of think differently about how this is displaying in different formats. So that was really helpful. And that also gave us that little hour-long exercise, also gave us the ability to then go through and practice doing refunds and practice all the troubleshooting that goes along with having an online arm of your business. And so I wish we'd done more of it, but it was a helpful exercise also just to see how do orders pop up on your end, and how does that integrate with your everyday workflow. So I feel like I'm rambling here, but
no, I think that was like very, very helpful advice, and like,
okay.
It's cool. I wouldn't have thought of that. Susanna too, I'll give you a chance to answer that question if it shows the analytics to date.
Yeah, I actually was able to pull that up, and let me know. My computer's telling me that my bandwidth started running a little slow, so let me know if I need to try to figure out a different Wi-Fi. But So for today, I have been going on the desktop a lot and visiting my website. Usually we don't have as many first thing in the morning, but you can see like sessions today. So it'll break it down by desktop and mobile. And then there's also analytics that'll tell you like your peak times that people will be going online. And actually, I don't think it's online only. So on here, you can see we've started for today. No, here's the sessions. And right here, when we have like something in the middle of the night, it's typically, we can see where it is in the US too. So we can see if there's a concentration in the Pacific Northwest, like there usually is. But then sometimes we'll get something where somebody visited your site from like Hong Kong. And so it's, I don't know, the internet bots or whatever visiting it. But it'll show you when, right now you can see here's the peak from today from me visiting the site, and then it just kind of ebbs and flows. Usually right around the lunch hour and early afternoon are some of the busiest times for the website and for the store in general. So this is just comparing it to yesterday, and we did have quite a few people in here during just into, not necessarily buying, but just shopping around. In that lunch hour is when we usually get a lot of people coming in. So yeah, there's a lot of the analytics that you can see. It goes into a lot more detail than I need, and you can sort things by certain days. So if we wanted to compare year over year, we could do that. I know for our store, we would always be better now than we were a year ago, just because we're still pretty new, but yeah, it shows you a lot, and that's just the Shopify end of it. And it was also for us, the website and setting it up was a lot of trial and error and doing and redoing. And it took us, we had what we called the softest opening forever, because probably like 3 weeks after we got the keys to the building, the highway project started right out front, and they literally put the concrete barriers right in front of our parking lot. So we really took the time to, kind of have no expectations for a little bit, and get our bearings and get everything set up. But it was a lot of learning how to sort the website, create it how we wanted. We started with like kitchen and bath and things we liked. So we had 3 tabs, and they had like a million things below. One thing that's helped us is I've hired my sister, but one dedicated person, and her job is to keep the website up to date. Because if it was me trying to do that with my other job, it would still have Valentine's Day on here. Just that's one thing that I've learned over the last year or so, is that I needed to delegate a little bit of it, and having too many hands involved in updating the website was making it so that, we were thinking somebody else was doing something, or something wasn't getting done quite the way that I had envisioned it or my mom had. So we kind of took that and just made it one person to make it clean and easy. And my sister is the one that will enter in all of our inventory before we receive it, because she can do that from where she lives out of state. And then when the items come in, it allows our store employees or retail employees to come in and actually look at the items, adjust the amounts if we don't receive any, and see what we're supposed to have. But we've redesigned it a couple times, I think. And right now it is we're always adding new things. We added pre-orders to the website for Finex cast iron, because it's a high dollar price point item, so a little bit easier for us to pre-order. We've added, these are my dogs, they're sleeping right next to me right now, they're being really good. We have on the website, you can go to our Facebook page. This is a link to if we had any events coming up, or we have a newsletter that I am still a work in progress on getting better about sending emails out to our subscribers. We also have the ability to do a wish list, which has been awesome during the holidays, because somebody can come in here and know exactly what they're wanting. They can either search it or go in. During seasonal, we have a whole Christmas section, and they can email it to people. So the easiest way to shop for somebody for their birthday is, I've already done it to my mom and sent her everything I want from the store for my birthday that's coming up. But yeah, it has definitely a lot of redoing to figure out where we are, but now at least it's at a manageable level, and we can bring in different items and collections so that you can show people, you can go in and know if you're looking for something springy specifically. Or we also really want people to also come into the store has been our focus. So trying to have photos of the products, but also photos of how they're displayed in the store to bring people in. And yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely, both of you led into a little bit my second question of like, how did the creation story go? And creating your online site. Is there any more that we want to touch on that question about creating like the whole story and the process of creating that you think would be helpful for others?
It's having the problem I thought of.
Thanks, no worries, Susanna. Cool. Well, I will go into the third question that we have here, which is, what advice would you give someone for creating their e-commerce site? So after you created it, so we got one piece of advice, so like get a group of friends together, but what are other things that you would suggest when making the site?
I think for us, having in mind that it's a convenience that you are offering your customers. And so trying to minimize frustration wherever possible. And that means a lot of really clear communication. And sometimes repeating yourself multiple times, because people do not always read, is even no matter how clearly you spell out terms and conditions. So just not being afraid to repeat a message gently, but in several places so people kind of understand the process and what to expect. I also was surprised at that the level of internet literacy was not quite as high as I was expecting. I was thinking that since everybody has Facebook and we're also used to being online, I had some assumptions about what would be obvious to people. And so just really thinking about things as simply as possible. And that's why sending your link to your grandmother or people that might not necessarily have grown up using the internet will quickly expose things that you have not thought of. So that I would think about that ahead of time. And we also, like you said at the beginning, it's very true. Like this is what's open 24 hours a day for our business. So it's just that clear communication of when someone places an order, they receive an email confirming the order, but then at first we didn't also include directions at the bottom of where to go to pick up your pizza and directions of where to park. And so clear communication and really thinking through that whole process of what happens after this person confirms the order. We don't do shipping, but that's a whole, I'm sure that has its own communication that needs to be done of when it's shipping, how to track there. So just thinking through that entire process. And I underestimated thinking, well, it's pizza. Someone places an order and they pick it up. But if you can really break down every single little thing that happens in that process and make sure to communicate it, it makes the whole thing really a tool and not a frustration for you and your customers, which is what it should be.
That's really good advice. Yeah, I can imagine that situation come up. I get like, oh, you think you could Google, but not everyone is used to like Googling if they want that link right then and there. So cool. And Susanna, what's been your experience?
I think one of the biggest things is take the time. Not everyone not everyone is open to giving advice to somebody, especially if they see I guess not everyone is like community over competition of mindset. However, you know, you can go through somebody else's website, maybe like a similar business to one, not necessarily the same, you know, you don't want to copy them, but look at their website and take a look and note things that you liked about it, things, you know, a way that you can make it your own and kind of how you can tailor it to showing people your personality, your mission, your vision for your business. And then also look for things that you don't, you know, things that you would change or things that you don't like about it. Kind of like, if, you know, if you don't think that they're very clear about their certain processes or anything like that, if you can't find something, you know, that would be an area of focus for you going into it, to make sure that you had changed, you know, tweaked it to be more functional for the way that you want it to work. But really taking a look at the website of different companies that you're wanting to, or that are similar in their business model maybe, and then also going through like their social medias and kind of seeing how they work it all together, which is just one of the bigger things. And then also I would say asking maybe somebody like Jason if he has recommendations for what type of software starting out. I know that we had looked at Square as well as Shopify, and there may be just different things that are personal preference, but also specifically within the software that may work better for your business than others.
I would also add that remember that you are the customer to those software companies. So we were not shy about contacting those companies and saying, we're a pizza cart, like, what can you do for us? And they have staff that their job is to sell you on their product. So they were very helpful. In one of them, Square actually even provided like a mock website to show how it could work. And I think sometimes, at least I don't, you know, customer service, I'm so used to that being a whole frustrating interaction, but their sales teams are very knowledgeable and they can really provide you a lot of information. And so asking, you know, for examples of how it can work, I was happily surprised at how willing they were to really try to customize the experience for us. And I think I'm missing some questions here. Did I just see one pop up?
Yeah, there's one question that was about pricing, and I think also might be applicable to Square. What's the pricing for each platform?
There's at least within Square, there's tiers of pricing, and it depends on your volume and the you know, the different kinds of services you want to offer. We use a very basic tier. So they take a percent, there's a transaction fee, and they take for both in person and online. But we're not paying for that Square online outright. It's just sort of built into the transactional fee we pay. And right now that works. If we, like I said, there's higher tiers that would allow us, I think if we were shipping things or offering, they have tools that, like, if you were going to be teaching online classes, or, you know, there's people are using online commerce for everything. So since we are just dealing in very quick turnaround, tangible products, we are able to kind of use a very simplistic tier. So I can't speak of kind of the more complicated ones, but they are all competing with each other. So it was not a financial obstacle at all for us to add a online store. They really make it easy to do that.
Cool. And then same question to you, Susanna, of the expenses.
We pay an annual fee. I'm not positive of what the amount is. I do think it's also depends on a package, if I'm correct, and I know it comes out around May. So it will become, I'll get an alert on it soon. But then they take out their transactional fees for every sale that we have, and they will send a payout. So I'll know exactly what our sales were for the day. And then when I'll get an email saying what my payout's going to be for it. And then there's also additional things that we can add in there. So like for when we do ship a product, we have to purchase the shipping label. And that kind of stuff gets added to a bill if we do it. There's not many other expenses. There are like apps that we could purchase if we wanted to, and they're really transparent about what that would be, and it would add to, we would get billed monthly for that. But overall, that I don't know exactly what it was. And then there was a one-time cost for the POS system that we purchased, because we are both in-store and online. And so we have the cash register, an iPad base, and barcode scanner, chip readers, that kind of stuff. And that came with it one time. We can always purchase their items. They had it available in a package. So we also have a label printer and barcode printer that came with it. And then and I can choose how much we charge customers for shipping. So we can choose the tiers if we want to do a flat rate, if we want to do free shipping off different things. And then we just cover the cost if it's different. And then I think that, I don't know if there was a way to pay less if it was like bulked, kind of like how I pay my car insurance. I think it was a little bit less if we paid for a year up front. But another thing that I am piggybacking on what Aaron was saying about they're all competing for your business. We have had a good time with their customer service side. I get a call back usually just within a couple minutes, or it'll tell me when I can expect a call back, if I'd like to chat, how I'd like to get my issue resolved. And for the most part, I'm entering in my phone number and then I'm getting a call right away. So we've been pretty happy with that. And I feel like, that's, if they are, then I would assume Square would be competing with that too on the level of customer service. We've been really happy with it.
That's a really good advice. I wouldn't naturally think of that. But I can see their businesses are trying to really meet the business where they're at. To keep their service. And so thank you for answering that question. And yes, throughout the presentation, if you have questions, feel free to use the raise hand feature or put them in the chat. We'll move on to the next question that we have here, which is what has worked well about having an e-commerce site? I think we've touched on this a bit, but what would you say are like some of the best things that you've gotten from your site?
For us, definitely the best thing has been able to offer convenience to customers and also stagger orders. So the way we have it set up is and all of this is customizable. The way we chose to set it up is we can accept a certain amount of online orders every 15 minutes so that we're not getting 10 orders right at 4 o'clock. So there are essentially a certain amount of spots for online orders every day, and people can go in, and so they can choose what time they're picking up. And then it just has streamlined our time so much to be able to go in and say, okay, here's our day. We have we're starting at 3:15, and then we have our last orders at 7, and then that has made our flow so easy to then fit in person and phone customers around that. So we really try to be as punctual as possible. We want, when people order a pizza for 3:30, we really try to make sure it's ready at 3:30. And the ability to kind of schedule things online is great because you have a view of your day before you even begin that allows you to kind of strategize. And it has also been even people that don't necessarily order will look at our online menu, and like I said, that really serves as our more living website. So if we work with a lot of local farms, and so that means things are different. Some days we'll have shiitakes, some days we won't, some days we'll have this that we were able to get from a farm. And so people can kind of see what we have that day and before calling in an order, because not everybody, there's definitely still people that are resistant to ordering online. And I want it, like I said, I want it to be a convenience and not something that people feel forced to use. But even people that haven't wanted to order online still refer to the site as kind of a basic, very live menu of what we have. And I'm sure it's the same for on a retail side. It's very nice to be able to control inventory. So if we if we're doing a special on lasagnas or something, we're a very, very small cart. We can only do maybe, 15, 20 lasagnas. I have an ability to kind of cap that online, go to bed, and not worry that I'm going to have to get up and refund a bunch of lasagnas that people ordered overnight. So we definitely use that inventory feature a lot. And it just, it becomes something that helps us, like I said, strategize, but also minimize disappointment with customers too. So that's what's worked. What hasn't worked, we have had, any tool you're using, that things will go wrong. And there have been times where Square went down for a little bit last week. It was only 30 minutes, but that definitely affects you. To go back to what you were saying, the customer service is extremely responsive, and they have some measures that we can continue to accept orders, and they just kind of hold it locally until it's kind of connected again online. So they try to minimize the damage of those outages, and they've been rare, but it is something, it will happen. So it's something to consider and kind of plan for how are you going to handle that when that happens. But more often, the snowstorm is a perfect example of it. It's so nice. Online has definitely allowed us to pivot in multiple times to be able to be like, oh, well, we are not going to be able to be open for weather on this day, but we can do a bunch of pre-orders for lasagnas or pasta or something. And so it has been a very beneficial tool for us overall. Okay, question. Who hosts your website's landing page? It's our website landing page is through Squarespace, which is not affiliated with Square. They also, there's multiple ways you can incorporate e-commerce through Squarespace. That's probably a whole other conversation. But like I said, we wanted to be able to have something that was very compatible with our day-to-day point of sale, and which we use an iPad and sometimes even our phones if we're doing an event. So we have a website and online are two separate entities. There's lots of other companies that can be incorporated in one if managing two different things is daunting.
That's a great answer. And same question to you, Susanna. What has worked well and what hasn't worked as planned?
I think the inventory has now is working a lot better. We were getting off a little bit if things weren't coming in. My mom is the queen of getting really excited when new products come in and doesn't always make sure it's turned live on the back end. And so she has created it where sometimes, our retail employees will just make a custom sale, which will throw the inventory quantity off. Luckily, it hasn't been anything that's really negatively affected us, but it is, the availability for the inventory control is really nice. And it'll also show a customer on the website. Let's see. if it's, I can show it. You know, I just sold something yesterday. So on the website, you can also see, if there is an item that is sold out, you could keep that on there if you wanted. If it's something that people do, you know, want to contact you about to see if you're going to be getting it back into stock, or if something's on clearance, the same thing, it will show you that up front. So that has worked really well. And I really like the availability for us to incorporate through Shopify specifically, because our website is run through Shopify. We can combine sales and do all of our discounts online or online and in store. And then it saves the analytics for us so that we can compare what different discounts worked, what were more effective online. The ones online are definitely the automatic discounts versus when somebody has to put a code in. I can put it on the banner at the very top of the page, and it's still going to be, people still won't enter the code. Automatic seems to be the way to go. And our in-store and online is all through Shopify. I think that's what that message, it's all the same. So that I just have to go in and click a button that says if I want to offer something online, in-store, or both. And I can also, we've linked it with Facebook as well through Shopify. So we should be able to sell our items in a perfect world. When Facebook lets all of my items get tagged on there, they can take you directly to it.
I see a question about if Square has that same feature. We don't use it. I think that at a certain tier, they do offer some of that, but and this may have changed, but when we were initially looking into this, Shopify definitely has a more seamless relationship with Facebook. Facebook is not a big driver for us. So that wasn't as much of a concern. But if you're doing a lot of your interacting through Facebook, at least 2 years ago when I looked into it, I think Shopify does a better job of that, of linking in with social media. Square, one thing that Square does well is, for a long time, it was so, it allows, I don't even know if people are aware of this, but from the customer side, you have a lot of customization you can do. So some of our customers will save their profile of, these are my favorite pizzas, or these are different things, so that when they go in, they can have like a quicker, more automatic experience. And in person, they can set it up so when they make a transaction, it automatically texts or email them an invoice. That's not something I can set up for a customer. That's something that they do on their end. So, but I think from a social media perspective, like I said, could have changed, but I think Shopify was kind of doing a better job of that, at least when I was doing my research.
I think when I set it up, we ended up calling, was it Pacific Northwest WebWorks? There was something that needed to get tweaked with, oh no, that was for the plumbing company's website. I did have to do something with, something was wrong with our Facebook and was not letting us get logged in. And there was something for the plumbing website. And I think he was able to help me with this as well. On the Shopify end, there was something that needed to get changed, and Pacific Northwest WebWorks was able to help us get it fixed. And it was really easy. And ever since then, I really haven't had any issues, aside from, like I was telling Sierra earlier, Facebook won't let you sell anything that they deem that has to do with promoting the consumption or sale of alcohol. So wine glasses, cocktail mixers, literal spoons, tumblers, even if they're just glasses, they will tag them and say that it's not, you have to submit for a review on the items. So that sometimes Facebook even though they're a great tool, they do have their own rules, and they will tell you when your items don't meet them. Like I think it says I have 160 some that need to be reviewed right now, and I've just been letting that number pile up because it's starting. It's like your email inbox when, you know, like your junk mail. So yeah, that's a one little, there are some issues with Facebook specifically, or like when you try to tag an item, for some reason, sometimes you can search them and they will not show up. Because I know like today I was trying to set up this post, and I was able to tag these little ornaments for orphans. This is obviously a bunny, but I was trying to tag one of the eggs and it wouldn't let me do that. It would only let me tag this item on here. And it wouldn't pull up the homemade toffee that we have for the seasonal, for the Easter season. And it just, for whatever reason, it picks and chooses what items will pull up. So I can type home in here and I can get everything besides the one that I want. And then if I type seasonal, most of it won't show anything. So there are a little bit of limitations, and that's just a Facebook thing. And so that's probably one of my biggest struggles. And also because this isn't my only job that I do, it's something that I need to focus in on, and is a goal for me for this year to get narrowed down to make it more seamless. But one of the issues with I don't know, it's just a Facebook thing, I think.
Yeah, I think that answers the question well. Thank you. I will open up too, because we're getting close to time. Is there any questions in the room that people want to ask before I just ask my questions? Awesome.
Hey,
Well,
I do have a question. Yeah. It's on the banking side of things. I know that a lot of financial institutions offer like POS. How does your POS interface with whatever financial institution you guys are using?
Mine has a daily batch, and it just sends it right on over to Inroads for me. So, and then it will also charge if we do shipping or anything that they need to bill us for. Again, they'll send me a bill and they'll tell me how much they're going to be withdrawing from the account as well. So we have it linked through ACH.
Square is similar. It's a daily batch. We get a report that accompanies it by email. We can also, there's a very robust report section on the website as well that we can consult. And that part is pretty seamless. Another thing you might want to take into consideration just from a setup perspective, we also have it integrated with QuickBooks so that our sales kind of automatically populate QuickBooks, which mostly works, but it needs some supervision and tweaking for sure. But that's, again, one of the things that when you're setting up your business, you might want to think ahead of testing those things, making sure the transfers are going to your banking institution, and when they happen, what time they happen, how that is affected by holidays, there's multiple different ways that might be important to you, how and when that money physically becomes available to you, and then how are you going to integrate that into whatever bookkeeping you're using. So it was a little bit of it wasn't hard, but allocate some time to explore those questions and set it up as thoroughly as you can at the beginning, and you'll save yourself a lot of hassle months later.
Yeah, that sparked a good question for me as we're right now in tax season. Do these systems work pretty well with taxes as well?
Yeah, yes, they work as well as you set them up to work. So going through, and it was more of a QuickBooks project than a Square project, but making sure that we had everything kind of categorized correctly. did take some trial and error, but once you have it set up, and it does work. I mean, it's amazing how helpful it is to have some of these tools that are automated now that were not 10, 20 years ago. So I do appreciate the ease of use in that, but it's not a set it and forget it either. You really have to continue to make sure things are going in the way you think. And but yeah, QuickBooks is pretty ubiquitous, I would say. So I don't know how it works with that's the only one we've used, but it's been a good experience for us.
Excellent. And then Suzanne, if you want to answer that.
Mindy is actually a tax consultant by trade. That's her background. So she does all that kind of stuff for me, and she uses QuickBooks Desktop. So I don't know, Erin, if you're using the online version and I know we tried to use the online version when I first came onto the company, and her brain could not get wrapped around the ease of, like, for most business owners, the online is the way to go. So she has her own way that she handles all that kind of stuff, and it is probably different than literally everyone else. I'm sure I know that there's a ton of reports that the same kind of thing, and I'm sure that they do integrate with the QuickBooks, especially online. But that's not the case just because of Mindy and her position. And so, yeah, it's a little different.
Cool. Well, is there any closing thoughts that you both would have that you share with the room in regards to selling online?
I think my closing thought would be, and we're just kind of at the beginning of exploring this ourselves, but I think that online commerce can be a launch pad to passive income that you may have not thought of before in your business. And the ability to, like I said, have things like maybe you have, even if you're not selling a physical product, maybe you have some knowledge that could be put into a PDF that somebody could buy any time of day and read what you've written, or a video, or an appointment for some kind of service that you provide. So doing online, being forced into this position to look into it, has definitely expanded our thoughts of what we can do with it. And there's definitely some passive income opportunities there that I think are worth exploring. Everything takes time, and not everybody, not everything will apply to every business, but it can be, it can really open your business up to different offerings, I would say.
Awesome. And Suzanne, if you're able.
In our case, we never planned on being online besides having a Facebook page to showcase the store. It was always planned to just be brick and mortar. And through the software, when we were doing our shopping around and looking for how we were going to get a POS and all that kind of stuff, who we were going to use, we figured, what the heck? And so it's been a really it's another really steep learning curve. And I guess my biggest thing is just don't go out of your way to try to follow somebody else's trend, or, just make sure that your website is portraying what you want, giving somebody the feeling online, the same feeling that you would want if they were going to be coming in to visit your business. Kind of just showcase who you are. Don't showcase something that, once they finally meet the product or meet the people behind it, they're like, that is not what I expected whatsoever. And just make sure that you're being authentic to you, while also taking into account maybe following different marketing strategies. If you're seeing them, you'll see social media always has trends going on, and it's pretty easy to see, especially when during the peak of COVID with all the TikTok trends, and seeing which videos and music and dances would get really popular. It's all the same thing through social media, or even what people are purchasing. And so just sticking to your brand and building your personal brand.
Yeah, I think that's excellent advice, and a theme that we've been running through this whole course series is be authentic with your social media, because marketing at in general is a connection with the customer. It should be a personal connection with your customer. And so making that connection strong and robust is what it's all about. Awesome. Well, thank you both for speaking today. I'm going to really quickly blitz through the last little slide here that I have. So we put on this series and so all of our classes are done, but next week we're doing workshop week. And so what that has in store is that we partnered with local photographers and videographers, and they're offering specially discounted packages right now. So if you wanted to get their photos for your business and your website, or product photos, as we're talking about selling online, they have like these discounted packages available. Additionally, there's like, if you want to make a website, one of them is offering making a website and logo and graphic design at discount packages. So that's an excellent opportunity. If you book with them before the 17th of next week, those deals will be good. And then next Wednesday, we're offering free one-on-one consulting for Facebook and Instagram. So if you want to get like personal advice on your Facebook and Instagram page, you can like book your appointment with one of our advisors. And so when you scan that QR code there, or if you want to email me, I can send you all those booking links to book with people, and they're in person in Scappoose, St. Helens, and Clatskanie. And then additionally, our website's launching this Friday. And so if you add yourself on before next Friday, you'll have a chance to win a $250 gift card to a local business of your choice. And of course, you also take advantage of our free marketing tool. And so these are those packages that I was referring to, and they are offering these discounts right here. And if you want to learn more, you can just go on to our Eventbrite page and it'll take you to this link. I'll try to copy and paste it in the chat towards the end too. And then thank you all for participating. I really appreciate you coming to this class and classes before. And this does close out our series of classes, but we hope that you take advantage of some of the hands-on workshop activities next time. And if you've attended 3 classes of the whole series, I'll be contacting you how to use the special deal that we were offering. So thank you all for participating. And I'll quickly send that link if you want to look at those photographer and videographer packages.
Thanks for having me. And I would just also say, we had a lot of help when we were starting out. So if anybody has questions that you think Pizza Lady can answer, feel free to reach out to us at Howl's Pizza. I'm always happy to share what has worked with us more specifically. And so don't hesitate if you have questions after this too.
Awesome. Yes. And same to the people that are watching the recording. Cool. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Susanna and Aaron. I really, really appreciate you both speaking with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Have a good day, everyone.